If I were visiting a town and I didn't know much about it, I would probably go to Google and type in things to do in and around name of city. So this episode is titled Things to Do in and Around Perrysburg. Instead of getting search results from a very impersonal computer, this is a whole bunch of stuff to do in and around Perrysburg from the perspective of a local. Whether you're a visitor or a Perrysburg resident, I hope this episode helps you. Welcome to the Perrysburg Podcast, episode 126. I'm your host, Perrysburg resident Kim Newlove. The Perrysburg Podcast is a resource for Perrysburg residents. We talk about what's in Perrysburg and why people like to live here. Our website is perrysburgpodcast.com. As I publish this, it is Friday, December 19th, 2025. The holidays are here. This is the last episode prior to Christmas. Perrysburg residents and their visitors are probably looking for things to do. So, again, I hope this episode helps you. Now, in an effort to create what I call evergreen content, which is good year round, I am covering a lot of things to do in and around Perrysburg, but it's not going to get real specific to the Christmas season. I would like to try to be aseasonal, meaning without respect to any particular season or event. Hopefully, all this information will be good year round. That's my goal. First off, let me encourage you to look through the back catalog of this podcast. That means go to perrysburgpodcast.com, click the episode button, and then look at all of the episodes that I've already published. That's what I call my back catalog. As I record this, this is episode 126. In previous episodes, we covered a lot of stuff. We covered places of worship, which, if you're in town for Christmas or Easter, those will possibly be very important to you. We also talked about public transportation in Perrysburg, which may be of interest to you if you don't have a car here and you're staying at one of our fine hotels. We've also talked about where you can find Santa in case you're here at Christmas time. We've also talked about cemeteries, which might be important if you're visiting and looking for dead relatives. We've talked about pharmacies, Three Dog Bakery, and pet information. We've talked about free stuff, secondhand stores, every single park in Perrysburg, the Way Public Library, sources of information, which is a very important episode. That's episode 6. We've talked about walleye fishing, which is important to this area. We've talked about volunteer opportunities, food banks. We've talked about other food too, like going to restaurants. We've talked about Prime IV, hydration and wellness, which is where you can get a 1 hour vacation. If you're in town and the relatives that you're staying with are just too much and you need a break, head over to Prime IV, hydration and wellness. They will hook you up with a 1 hour vacation. They're not paying me to say that. That's kind of one of their taglines, and I like it. On this podcast, we've also talked about bars and breweries, bakeries, and dessert destinations too, butcher shops, the town center at Levis Commons. We've talked about restaurants. I think I already said that, but I'll say it again. We've talked about coffee, kayaking, the boat launches in town, which you can also use as a jet ski launch in the summertime. Please don't do it in the winter. Our river is frozen. We've also talked about ice cream shops, the Visit Perrysburg organization. By the way, the Visit Perrysburg organization is our local CVB, Convention and Visitors Bureau. We've also talked about the municipal pool, motorcycle dealerships. I'm a motorcycle rider. If you're in town and you're bored, I believe the Harley Davidson dealership is open over the holidays. There you go. We've talked about planes, trains, and automobiles in case you want information from a local about any of that. We've talked about the Norma Stark Memory Garden and Labyrinth. If you've never been to a labyrinth, we have one here in Perrysburg, so check out that episode. I think it was episode 17. We had an episode on the American Legion. I believe that was episode 28. If you'd like to stop by our American Legion, it's a cute little building. And if you're a veteran, we also have meetings. We also talked about the Friday night car shows from May through October on this podcast. We talked about the Homecoming Festival and the Farmers Market too. I hope I didn't miss anything. but if I did, you'll see it all on perrysburgpodcast.com. Just hit the episode button and look through the episode list. It's all right there. Even with all that in Perrysburg, there is still a lot in and around Perrysburg that has not been featured on the show yet. To kind of fill in the gaps, so to speak, I will give you some advice about things to do locally. And much of this comes from my son Craig's list of favorite things to do in and around Perrysburg. So thanks, Craig. Before I start listing things to do, I would like to encourage you to also ask your friends, neighbors, family members, and other Perrysburg residents what they like to do in and around Perrysburg, too. Perrysburg residents have some great ideas. Now, even though I have lived here for 18 years myself, this episode is not all inclusive. So, this is my disclaimer. This is not an all inclusive list of all the things that there are to do in and around Perrysburg. For ideas to kind of fill in the gaps here, I want you to check out episode 6 of this podcast. I list 10 sources of information about Perrysburg, such as the local newspaper. It's called the Perrysburg Messenger Journal newspaper. We've also got the Buzz Book, the Perrysburg, Ohio Facebook group, which has more than 20,000 members. If you ask them what there is to do in and around Perrysburg, they might have some ideas that didn't make this episode. Other sources of information are the Perrysburg Living Magazine, Way Public Library, the Perrysburg Chamber of Commerce, the Perrysburg Convention and Visitors Bureau, which is also known as Visit Perrysburg, and Historic Perrysburg, Inc. Again, they are all listed in episode 6 of the Perrysburg podcast. Each one will have local information. Now, if you like history, let's get started here. If you like history, start with Historic Perrysburg, Inc. as a source of information and visit the Perrysburg Area Historic Museum on West River Road. I've been meaning to visit this. I believe it's marked as the Spafford House. I have never been there, and I've lived here for 18 years. Don't be like me. Visit the Perrysburg Area Historic Museum. Put it on your list of things to visit in and around Perrysburg. Let's keep going with the history theme here. If you like local history museums, I want you to try the Fort Meigs Historic Site on West River Road. A lot of people call it Fort Meigs Battlefield. There's also a county museum for our county. It's called the Wood County Museum, and it's in Bowling Green, Ohio. Maumee also has a local history museum. Now, if you're a visitor and you've never heard that word, Maumee, it's the name of a town. It's the town just north of us across the river. It's Maumee, Maumee. They have a local history museum and it's called the Wolcott House. That's Wolcott, Wolcott. There are also several museums in the Toledo area, including the Toledo Museum of Art. Highly recommend that one. We've also got the Museum of Natural History at the Toledo Zoo. Imagination Station in downtown Toledo is our local children's science museum. And we've got the National Museum of the Great Lakes. If you haven't been there yet, the National Museum of the Great Lakes is right by Glass City Metro Park. I believe that's Front Street, Toledo, Ohio. Glass City Metro Park is home to a very well planned outdoor ice skating area along the Maumee River. It is called the Ribbon. Since I mentioned the Ribbon, let's go talk about Glass City Metro Park and the Ribbon next. The Ribbon is Ribbon, Ribbon. The name of the park, again, is Glass City Metro Park. It's on the east side. My son Craig doesn't like ice skating anymore, but he loves to just sit and watch people skate. Inside the Metro Parks Hall, there at Glass City Metro Park, you can rent skates. There's indoor seating and bathrooms at that Metro Parks Hall as well. To learn more, go to metroparkstoledo.com/the ribbon. Again, that's metroparkstoledo.com/the ribbon. Since we're on the topic of the Metro Parks, let's keep talking about those. We are big fans of the Toledo Metro Parks. There are, according to the website, 19 Metro Parks in our area. That's the Toledo Lucas County area. Our favorite one is Wildwood Metro Park. We have a lot of memories there. It has hiking trails. There's a lot of history. So there's signs telling you how the land got acquired. There's a mansion there called the Manor House. They talk about the history of that. And there's plenty of bathrooms, which of course is important to me because I just like to be comfortable. They also have a bike trail that runs along it as well. It's called the University Bike Trail. Glass City Metro Park might be my number 2 favorite, but we also love this other feature. It's not in Glass City Metro Park, it's not at Wildwood Metro Park, it's a totally different feature. It's called the Canley Treehouse Village. Did you know that we have a treehouse village right here in Northwest Ohio? I am genuinely excited. This is really something. I've been there. I have stayed inside of one of them overnight. Did you know that you can reserve a treehouse and stay in one overnight? They are really cool. To learn more about the Toledo Metro Parks and the Canley Treehouse Village, go to metroparkstoledo.com. I'm sure there's videos of the Treehouse Village on YouTube as well. That's all I'm going to say about the Toledo Metro Parks at this time. Let's talk about the Wood County Park District. Perrysburg has a few Wood County parks. So these are county parks, not city parks. Two examples of Wood County parks right here in Perrysburg are Sawyer Quarry Nature Preserve and W. Knight Nature Preserve. There are more than a dozen Wood County parks listed on the Wood County Park District website, including the bike trail. There is a huge, long bike trail that goes from, I believe it's North Baltimore to Bowling Green and Bowling Green to North Baltimore. I believe it's 25 miles in length. If you would like to learn about that bike trail, the Slippery Elm Bike Trail, visit wcparks.org. Now, if you only have time to visit one Wood County park other than the two in Perrysburg, the Sawyer Quarry and W. Knight, I would recommend that you head over to Mary Jane Thurston Park, and that's in Grand Rapids, Ohio. It's a little hike. It's about, I would say, 25 minutes drive to get there. And the things that are really cool about that park are they have this river walk that goes from the dam, so there's Providence Dam, on down to historic Grand Rapids. It is a cute little town. They have little shops, restaurants, and whatnot. I would recommend that. And if you want pizza, they have a pretty good pizza shop. It is called Snyder's Pizza. The next thing on my list is the planetariums. When's the last time you have been to a planetarium as an adult? I love planetariums. When we were in Canada last summer, we happened to go to Montreal and they had a planetarium there. That's the last time I went to a planetarium. But if you'd like to go to one of our local planetariums, there's one at Bowling Green State University and the University of Toledo. You can check their websites for showtimes. Now let's talk about the 577 Foundation. I should have opened with this one. I teach classes there. It's such a great place. The 577 Foundation is an arts and nature center. It's right here in Perrysburg. It gets its name from its address. The address is 577 East Front Street, Perrysburg, Ohio. Again, that's the 577 Foundation. Three things that you absolutely have to see when you go there are the koi fish inside the geodesic dome. Yes, I said geodesic dome. There is a dome. It is unmistakable. When you go through the front gate, I guess you could say, you will see this dome. I would also recommend that you see the birds and the bees room, which has birds and bees in it. And also go to the Curiosity Shop. The Curiosity Shop is part welcome center, part bookstore, and part gift shop. There's a lot of stuff in there. Oh, and the welcome center itself is heated in the winter with corn. So if you see a furnace burning something, you need to look closely. That's corn. If you're feeling ambitious when you visit the 577 Foundation, you also need to search for a newer feature. It is called the Phone of the Wind. The Phone of the Wind. The Phone of the Wind, this is kind of a serious topic. It's a grief tool, okay? Grief, Grief, grief. You can pick up the receiver, dial a lost loved one using a rotary dial phone, which is kind of cool, and you can say whatever comes to mind. The wind. will deliver your message. Again, this is called the Phone of the Wind. It's a grief management tool, and it is special. That wraps up the 577 Foundation. I know I ended on a serious note, but we're going to go to the Toledo Zoo next. The Toledo Zoo is a great zoo. I always have a great time there. There are two entrances. I personally think it's easier to enter the zoo from the Broadway Street entrance, but that lot costs $10, even if you have a zoo membership. So, since I do have a zoo membership, we park for free in the Anthony Wayne lot. Now, if you're a visitor and you don't have a membership, do whichever you like. I personally consider the Broadway entrance to be easier. Around Christmas time, you will 100% want to see the lights before Christmas at the zoo. They actually run, I think, until New Year's, but it is a New Love family tradition. My last name's New Love, so it's a New Love family tradition, and we love it. There are decorated trees, there are animal silhouettes, there's music, and so much more. And riding the train, I love trains. Riding the train is probably my very favorite part of my visit any time of the year, especially Christmas time. It's just fun. And if you need a challenge, I'm going to give you the name of my favorite animal, and I want you to try to find it. It is the snow leopard. The snow leopard. Check out its big old tail. It is fluffy and cute. We're done talking about the Toledo Zoo, but I'm going to go ahead and segue over to another animal topic. If you're into hunting, we have a local Bass Pro shop, and Cabela's is only maybe 30 minutes away, too. My son Craig loves to check out the fish tank at the Bass Pro in Rossford. Rossford's the next town over to our east. It's basically in the greater Perrysburg area. And I also like to look at all of the animals as well, not just the fish. I like to see the deer and everything else. Late November through Christmas, you'll find Santa at Bass Pro too. That does it for all the animal topics. Let's move on to the YMCA. We have a YMCA right here in Perrysburg. If you are a YMCA member and you're here from out of town, I do believe that you can use your YMCA membership there. So stop at the YMCA on Eccles Junction Road. We are big fans of the therapy pool, which is open to the public at various times. During the day, though, it is used by the Mercy Health Physical Therapy Department. The schedule for the therapy pool is on the WISE website, which is ymcatoledo.org. Let's keep going with the sports and athleticism theme here. If you like to golf, we have golf courses in and around Perrysburg. Two that come to mind are Crosswinds and Belmont Country Club. There's also a mini golf course on State Route 25. They're probably all closed this month because it's December, but if you come across this episode in the fair weather months, we do have golf in this area. There's lots of other golf courses around here. Let's face it, Ohio is flat. It's a great place for some golf. If you are looking for indoor golf, we have something called X Golf here. That's at the Walt Churchill's Shopping Center on North Dixie Highway. It's kind of close to where State Route 25, which is North Dixie Highway, meets I 475. And there's also a Glow Golf area in Sylvania, Ohio, and that's only about 20 minutes away. Glow Golf is lots of fun for the kids. Speaking of indoor things to do, I've got a list of a few indoor things that you could do. Levis Commons has a movie theater. If you want to go bowling, we recommend Interstate Lanes. Interstate Lanes is on Lime City Road in Rossford. There are no bowling alleys here in Perrysburg. You have to just go to the next town over. If you like ice hockey, you can catch a Toledo Walleye game. And if you'd like to go ice skating, the Tam O'Shanter in Sylvania is a good option. And BG, Bowling Green, also has an ice skating rink as well. If you like shopping, I'll just mention one indoor option. We've got the Franklin Park Mall in Toledo close by. That is not in Perrysburg, but it's in the greater Perrysburg area. Again, this is just a short list of indoor things to do in and around Perrysburg. If you don't mind outdoor or strip mall shopping, Levis Commons is a great destination. There's some debate about whether Levis Commons or historic downtown Perrysburg are better for shopping. I like them both, but the strip malls also have some good stores as well. I would say that the corner of Louisiana Avenue and South Boundary Street has a lot of strip mall type shopping, and it's pretty good. That's where you'll find a lot of the secondhand stores like Plato's Closet, Once Upon a Child, Clothes Mentor. And also, my favorite bookstore in town is over there, Gathering Volumes Bookstore. Also, at that intersection of Louisiana Avenue and South Boundary Street, you will find a very interesting store. It is called the Gilded Exchange. If you have not been to the Gilded Exchange yet, check that one out. It's very different. That one's next to Sidelines, and it's, I guess, in between Sidelines and Plato's Closet. Again, that's at Louisiana and South Boundary Street. And that's all I'm going to say about shopping. Next up is the local libraries. If you are visiting from out of town, please know that we only have one library here in Perrysburg, but it's a good one. It is called the Way Public Library. It is part of what's called the Wood County Library System. There are lots of libraries in the system. There's the Wood County Library in Bowling Green, Ohio, Pemberville Library, and so many more. When you stop by our library, though, Way Public Library, check out two things. Number one, the cake pan area, and number two, the Beyond Books area. Our library loans out more than just books and movies. They also loan out metal detectors. And I think I saw a microphone once and some children's games. There's all kinds of stuff. You can borrow many different things from Way Public Library. Close by, we also have the Lucas County Library System as well. If you only have time to visit one Lucas County library, go to the main branch, which is on Michigan Street in downtown Toledo. It's a great looking library. If you go in, there's some old-timey stuff inside there, but then they also have a rooftop patio with one heck of a view. It is a must-see. Speaking of Toledo, let's talk about Toledo for a little bit here. There is a lot to do in and around Toledo. I highly recommend that you visit this one particular website for more information. It is visittoledo.org. Visittoledo.org. You can learn about the Toledo Mud Hens, which is a baseball team, the Christmas lights at the Mud Hens Stadium around Christmas time. I think they call it Hensville, is going on right now here in December. You can learn about Toledo's Farmers Market, the Valentine Theater, and so much more. There's a lot to do in and around Toledo. As we start to wrap this up, I would like to say that there's a lot of once a year events that go on in and around Perrysburg as well. You'll want to check out all of those sources of information from episode 6 that I shared at the first part of this podcast episode. Check out the current information. For example, Perrysburg has a Memorial Day parade, and we have a homecoming festival with a parade. There are county fairs, fall festivals, and lots of other seasonal types of fun. So check out those sources of information no matter what time you find this episode. If you're looking for actual shows and programs, you'll want to check out local theaters, among other places. Now, when I say theaters, I'm not talking about movie theaters. We're talking about the Stranahan Theater, the Valentine Theater, the Toledo Repertoire Theater, and any others. And then also, we've got programs going on at the local libraries, the parks, and the 577 Foundation. You can take classes at the 577 Foundation. There's always something going on in and around Perrysburg. So check out programs and my back catalog, sources of information, and all of the things that I listed in this episode. Or you can make your own fun. You don't have to leave your house. You can make homemade pizza. You can get a group of people together and play a board game. Or you could also leave the area entirely and go up into Michigan to the Henry Ford Museum in Dearborn. Or you can go to the nearest Trader Joe's, which is in Ann Arbor, people tell me. I visited a friend in Durham, North Carolina this fall. I finally got to go to a Trader Joe's. It's a quirky grocery store. I enjoyed it. My life is complete now. Just kidding. It was cool, though. And if you're really ambitious, please know that Canada is less than an hour and a half away. If you have a passport and you're 19 or older, you can go to the casino there in Windsor, Ontario. I hope you are pleasantly surprised by all there is to do in and around Perrysburg, Ohio. This episode, again, doesn't cover everything, but between my back catalog of episodes and this one, you now have dozens of ideas. Whether you're a Perrysburg resident or a visitor, I thank you very much for listening to episode 126 of the Perrysburg Podcast. To read the show notes, head over to perrysburgpodcast.com. In the show notes, I will have lots of links to many of the places and things that were mentioned today. And again, I encourage you to scroll through the episode list for this podcast on perrysburgpodcast.com as well. If you know someone who would like this episode, please share it with them and subscribe to or follow the Perrysburg Podcast so you get each new episode right when it comes out. If you'd like to be notified about each new episode by email, join my email list. It's very easy. Go to perrysburgpodcast.com/newsletter. Thanks again for listening today. Merry Christmas, and I'll talk to you next week.